What's up everybody, I'm Caroline and I'm here with Master Samurai Griff.
Grandmaster.
Right, Grandmaster. And today we're bringing you an expert Sekiro guide. In this video, we'll be running you through some of the hidden techniques and game-changing bits of advice we've amassed after sinking a frankly ridiculous number of hours into the game.
Yep, so even if you've been playing Sekiro loads, you'll want to give this video a watch, if only because there's a bunch of cheesy tactics and shortcuts that really appeal to my underhanded nature. Let's take a look.
We'll start with the very best spots to do a bit of farming. Now, whenever a Souls game releases, the thing everybody wants to know is where they can go to get a load of currency really quickly and without much effort. That is a question I ask myself in life quite a lot, to be honest. And the best Sekiro farming spot for me is this method. You can get loads of XP relatively quickly. A few tips to keep in mind though to do it properly: remember to jump over the river so the man and the dog don't spot you. This is key, because if you get spotted, everybody goes aggro and it makes your life a lot harder. Also, to save a bit of time, use your homeward idle to walk back rather than running back on your slow little legs. In total, this run is only about 25 seconds. Everyone loves a bit of farming. Game-wise, I mean. Not the ones with chickens and waking up really early and all that. There are of course more farming spots than this one in the game, so share your favourite ones in the comments.
Next up, we've got a good old helping of cheese, and the first cheesy technique is this way to quickly beat the corrupted monk, who can best be described as an incredible bastard. Rather than juke it out on the bridge, just swing up to this tree branch and then come down on his head like a sack of potatoes. You can also cheese enemies in other ways. Ledges are actually a nightmare for the likes of 7 Ashina spears, so kite him over to some stairs and position him up the stairs while you stay off to the side. His attacks will sail over you and you can get in your own shots for free. Try it, it's quite something. Then there are the firecrackers, which are sorely underrated in my opinion. Simply throw a firecracker and get a hit in. They're great for opening up enemies. And lastly, if you're struggling on a boss fight, remember you can pause the game and select quit. When you re-enter the game, you'll start just outside the boss arena and you never have to see that awful boss again. Well, until you want to progress in the game, but you know, apart from that.
There's actually a secret backflip wall jump you can do, which comes courtesy of Redditor's Stardog. If you hold back while pressing jump, you'll pull it off. There are a few reasons you'll want to do this, besides looking cool, like using the wall jump to access hidden loot bags, which are usually up high somewhere. The move really comes into its own during fights too. There's nothing like a bit of move spamming. Well, for me anyway, because I have no morals. Ninjas are all about being tricky boys, so it stands to reason you can live up to the image in Sekiro. Finally, there's a secret thrust move. Again, it's one the game doesn't tell you about, but hold down the strike button and you can thrust straight through enemy guards. It's really useful. I don't know, the game might have told me about it, but I've got other things to worry about, like this dude.
Everyone knows the Guardian Ape is an awful scumbag, and he took me ages to beat him. That was until I found out this sneaky spear technique. How it works is this: in phase 2 of the fight, start by deflecting a few of his attacks. He'll get mad and attempt a downward slam, at which point you need to whip out your spear and use the pull attack. You know the centipede that's in his neck the whole time, which we're pulling out at the end of the fight here? The spear actually gets to it a lot earlier. It deals a load of posture damage and makes the whole clash a lot easier, so you should definitely try using the spear after his downward slam. On the topic of making boss fights against gorillas a whole lot easier, you can also charge the umbrella shield to ignore his entire roar in stage 2, and then use the follow-up attack to do loads of damage. Umbrellas really are a ninja's best friend, and also Rihanna's.
Leveling up isn't a thing anymore, of course, unlike past FromSoftware games, but you can still get stronger in a few other ways. Now, prayer beads are my personal favourite way. If a boss is too hard, just collect prayer beads to raise your health. It's a great quick fix. They are hidden away though, so here are some easy prayer beads you might have missed. Behind a secret wall in Ashina Castle in the room with the 2 samurai. Behind a secret wall in Hirata Estates just after the drunkard. In the attic of the temple after you fight the horse-riding boss. Sold by the dungeon master near the abandoned dungeon entrance. And before Madame Butterfly in a hallway with a white wooden panel. There are more prayer beads later in the game, but these ones should give you a nice collection.
Don't fancy learning to play the game properly? Shadow Rush is your crutch, and your enemies will be walking on crutches after you hit them with it. This is the ultimate attack of the Shinobi tree, and one of the best combat arts for me. It's got great range, deals good damage, and resets you to an advantageous position just above the enemy's head, where you can keep attacking. Shadow Rush makes a lot of mini-bosses much easier. You can totally use it to cheese people, much like that craze where people were throwing cheese on their pets. Now, Shadow Rush is a big investment in that it costs 6 skill points and sits at the end of the Shinobi tree, but for me, it's totally worth it. The second skill you need is Fang and Blade. This prosthetic skill adds a second strike after attacking with certain Shinobi prosthetics. Adding a second blow to the axe is incredibly helpful against Jinichiro, as you get 2 hits to hammer his posture. Fang and Blade costs 2 skill points and unlocks at the top branch of the tree after chasing Slice.
Parrying is ridiculously powerful. You already know that you can parry attacks and leave enemies open for counterattacks, but you can actually parry way more than simple sword strikes. Things that don't look parryable are in fact ultra parryable. Like, you can parry these dropkicks from the Chained Ogre, which it really doesn't look like you should be able to do. So my advice would be to test your parry on everything. The only thing you can't parry are attacks with a red kanji symbol on it. That symbol means it's an unblockable attack. If an attack doesn't have a symbol, you can parry it. But the number one secret tip of parrying is listening to the sound cue. Perilous attacks, the one preceded by a kanji symbol, always come with a sound cue, which is a quick, sharp note on a violin. Hit the button as soon as the cue finishes. And don't pay attention to anything else, like if the enemy seems too far away to be a threat or something. If you hear the cue, react. You can even do it with your eyes closed if you're good enough. And given this is the FromSoftware community, expect someone to do a blindfolded speedrun of it very soon.
So those were 7 tips to stepping up your game in Sekiro. We tried to include tips that were a bit more hidden and a bit more late game, seeing as it's been out for a while, so let us know if those work for you at all in the comments.
Yep, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to see Chris' blindfolded speedrun of Sekiro.
Oh, I'll try my best. See ya.
Bye!